Hello, everybody, and welcome to Rising Stars, where we showcase local Montreal talent on the rise. Today, I am especially excited because I am joined by an actor that I have the pleasure of meeting, Mr. Michael Zahran. Michael, thank you so much for
Another
being here.
Michael.
Yeah, there we go. I wanted to start off because it's the first time meeting.
Yeah.
Tell me about how you got started acting, what led you into the acting industry.
To be honest with you, acting is something that I was always interested in, and I was always attracted to since I was very young, at a very, very young age. And what made me just take the plunge later on in life was, I'm from an immigrant background myself, with immigrant parents, and study, get your education, get your degree. You can be a lawyer, you can be a doctor, or you can be, an engineer. That's pretty much, that's your road, right?
Yeah.
So I did my education, got my career, did all of that. And once I was in mid my career and it was, successful, thankfully. And I said, you know what? Forget all about that. Now I want to go back into acting, and I want to do it. Now I want to do it for myself. So I pleased everybody. Now I wanted to please myself, and I just jumped into it.
That's awesome.
But it was since I can remember, since I was maybe 6, 7 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was there a marking moment at 6 or 7 years old? Was there a show or a movie?
Not at all, believe it or not. I'm Greek Egyptian, born and raised in Egypt.
Oh, you're Greek as well?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
And I was in a private Catholic school in Egypt, very strict, very stern. And at a point where we used to have the teachers, let's say they were correcting exams or homework, whatever, while the students are there. So they would ask the student to go in front of the class and just monitor the remaining of the students, and they would do something wrong, they would tell, and they would get a thing. So I'm like, and she would always pick me up, God knows why. But I didn't find it cool, I'm gonna tell on the others. So I said, as a teacher, I'm like, can I tell them a story while I'm standing up here, She's like, as long as they're quiet, do whatever you want to do. And that was my first performance, where I was in front of my class, my fellow classmates, and I just told them a story, and I just wanted them to keep them quiet. But they started clapping at the end, and I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here, right? And it was at that moment that, I always knew when I was younger, but this was that validation of, I want to tell stories. My reason for acting is I want to tell stories. I want to share stories.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So that was kind of the marking moment then. As you said, you went to school, had your career, then you jumped into acting.
Yeah.
Take us through a bit of that timeline, when you started, what were the first steps?
So when I started, I just wanted to do it the right way. I knew nothing. People tell you, oh yeah, but so much talent. Talent can get you so far, right? You have to learn. It's an industry, it's a business just like anything else. And you have to be savvy, you have to know what it is, and you have to build yourself up, and you have to grow in it. So first things first, I went to acting school, ground one, level one, and started from there. And, you start learning things. It's very humbling. It's an extremely humbling experience. I enjoyed it. It opened up my eyes much more than I thought it would be. Teaches you that's a very hard work.
It is.
It is for everybody. It is hard work, guys. It's not all about fun and games. It is definitely hard work. It's very long hours.
Yeah.
It takes a really special kind of person to be in this field, whether it's cast or even more so crew. Major respect for everybody who wants to be part of this, because it's long hours, hard work, barely any sleep. You're running on coffee, sometimes water.
Little to no pay at the beginning.
And little to no pay.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
But it's so I started with that, and it really exposed me to the industry, was that jumping into school and making contacts.
For sure. Now, can I ask which school you went to?
I went to MSOPA.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, with Joe Zamal.
Nice.
Respect Joe.
And was there a certain methodology or a lesson that impacted you the most during your time there?
Great question. I never really took the lessons in acting or the classes in acting like I did when I did in school. when I was in school and I was studying, it was all about, okay, well, this is the lesson, this is the course, this is this. With acting, it was more, I just want to absorb. And it wasn't a fact that that's what I wanted to do. It was just, it happened naturally, where eyes open, ears open, just absorb, listen, learn, take it all in. Anybody who has something to say, take it in, whether it's good or bad. Do with it what you want later on, but take it in and absorb it.
Of course.
Yeah.
And when you began, because you were saying how you come from an immigrant family,
Yes.
I do as well. My parents are Greek.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. My grandparents immigrated here, but in these cultures, it's kind of taboo to say, I want to go be an actor.
Yeah.
What was that like, and what kind of got you through that? Were people supportive?
So, like, I'm a first generation immigrant. I was born and raised in Egypt, and I came here, I think I was like 11, 12 years old when I came here to Canada. So forget taboo. It was just, you don't talk about that, right? This is not something we talk about. So there was no support towards it, because how are you going to make a living, right? You crazy, right? How are you going to live, right? But it really takes the time where at a certain point, your parents are just going to get off your back. Right? I mean,
for like 2 or 3 years.
There's no choice, right? They have no choice. Especially that I went down that road, I got the career, I proved myself. Okay, but now I want to do something for me. I've done it for everybody. And at that point, actually, interestingly enough, my parents became extremely supportive. Where, I mean, my mom was like, I want to sign you up for this. I'm like, okay, man, thanks. That was just really the total opposite
reverse
way.
Psychology.
I'm like, I'll go be doctor, I promise. But it was fun. It was interesting. And it was cool to see that reversal of, now I just show them everything that I do, whether it's little, small, or whatever it is. It's just like, I want to share it with them.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And before the interview, we were talking, and you had told me how you had started in 2014.
Yes.
It's been, I'm bad at math, but to my knowledge, 9 years that you're acting. How is it?
Oh, you're good at math.
There's
a career there.
How has it progressed in the 9 years, and what are some roles you've played that have really struck a chord with you?
So how did it progress? Well, in 2014, it was just like pretty much, let's just get my feet wet. Let me see what it's all about. And, you don't know where to begin. Even when you jump in it, you don't know where to begin. And nobody's going to really give you an answer, because, like, I find as an actor, it's always good to find on your own. It's always good to have guidance. It's always good to look for people that are going to, give you pointers without telling you what to do. But then you explore on your own. Then actually, I was lucky enough to be cast in a few projects with the Trebas Institute. That was fun. And I mean, the crew was super supportive. They were pretty cool. Again, crew, I love working with crews.
Same here.
They're the best. They're better than actors. Don't tell them. But it was just, and I built a bond with them, and even till today, we're always in contact. We're always, speaking. I've directed some stuff where I actually had the crew from Trebas back in the day. They were, working on it, and whether they're editing or like behind the camera. So you have to really be involved in the industry.
Of course.
And I mean, that's the development. Of course, COVID put everything down. As a matter of fact, right before COVID, I had a short film that I wrote myself and I wanted to shoot. I never got a chance to shoot it. It was the people who read the script and were presented with it, they were blown away, and they all wanted to jump on it, and they were all ready. And interestingly enough, the day we had the audition for the leading lady was March 15th, 2020.
Wow.
The day of the lockdown. And everything was shut down.
Oh, man.
It was a heartbreak, but I mean, that script is still there. And I mean, now we're talking about 3 years later, everybody jumped on other projects, but this is my
baby.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. It took me a year and a half to write.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we ask the name? Because I'm looking forward to seeing it when it comes out.
The name, well, in a moment.
In a moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice. And you kind of took us through your career progression. What's on the horizon for Michael Zahran heading forward? Any roles you want to play?
Well, so you mentioned, what roles I've played before.
Yeah.
I apologize, I skipped down. But I mean, I was always, the assassin, the tough guy, the big guy. It's easy to go with the beard and
Yeah.
the big stature, but a role that really was actually two roles that were super fun to play was the first role that I did, where I was actually playing a customer service representative for a hotline of explosives.
Oh.
And there was the guy calling in was a suicide bomber whose explosive started going on earlier before he reached his destination. Very wrong, very taboo,
Yeah.
but it was the funniest thing ever. And it was just funny. And I remember we didn't have a big set, and I was sitting on the floor being in India, and we shot 9 hours where I was sitting cross-legged on the floor. It was gruesome, but I loved every moment of it.
Wow.
And the second one was actually the last one I shot, where I portrayed a father of a girl who I was pushing her to be a doctor.
Oh,
and
yes.
I wanted her to do that. Who's actually a very known actress, Tina. Shout out to Tina Malawi. But it was an awesome production. It was an awesome one because I really got to embody my father and really but I went a little bit over what my father would be, but I really, really embodied my father, and I just wanted to bring him out. And I've received a lot of, comments, favorable or unfavorable, but that one was different because, again, it wasn't tough. It's easy to be the tough guy.
Exactly.
But, to be somebody that's vulnerable while you look tough and you look, you have that stature, but to be vulnerable and weak, very difficult, very, very hard.
It is.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And
what's coming on the horizon?
Yeah.
I'm writing.
Nice.
So I finished that writing I told you about, and I'm writing another one actually right now about a true story that happened to me when I came here and I experienced the culture clash from coming from Egypt into Montreal, Canada.
Okay.
So I've been really writing. Nothing yet in terms of acting. A lot of things have slowed down. I'm actually shopping for an agent.
Oh,
I
nice.
finally got I said, you know what? I've been self-represented till now, which gave me a lot of footage, and it was great. But now it's time to get a little bit more serious, and I'm in the process of finalizing my demo reel, got my headshots updated, CV's going. So now I'm looking for an agent, and hopefully we'll see where it goes.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to touch back on that. The name of the project you're writing.
Yeah.
Because you said you'd tell us in a moment.
No, it's called In a Moment.
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
I had a feeling you were pulling my leg.
But take me through the getting an agent process now.
To tell you the truth, I don't have much to say because I'm just like, I got everything down. I don't know if there's a real recipe for this, if this is like something that everybody should follow. I don't believe in life there is a one way. I believe there's like many ways. Whatever works for you, dude, do it. You know what I mean? If it doesn't work for you, just don't do it. Personally, I guess I'm going to take my geeky nerd approach of like being in school and university for so many years, but research. It's, you put in the hours, you go in, you check for all of these agencies, and you see who's there. You look at the roster, you see, I like to maybe look at a roster where they don't have somebody that has my my face or my look. Maybe it would be easier to get there, but we have another guy, big guy with a beard, okay, well, move on to the other one. But yeah, so a lot of research, knowing who's there, seeing a few actors that are being represented by that person, and just so right now I'm in research, but as I said, I'm finalizing my demo reel, and I will be firing out emails, and that's just pretty much put everything together in a package, send an email, short email, hey, looking for representation, I'm interested, please, if you will have time, take a look at it. If not, it's all good.
Of course,
yeah.
Of course. And I also wanted to ask you, because you come, from what I understand, a business background, I believe. I don't know, I'm not sure what you studied, but you come from a background completely different from the acting and artistic world. What is a piece of advice you would give somebody who isn't in acting, who has no idea about it, but wants to jump in, and it's like, Mike, can you give me a piece of advice? I just want to get started.
I don't even know if I'm the right guy for this. I mean, like I'm uh, again, from my experiences, I found when I first started, a lot of people were eager to become union. And, oh, how do I get actor right away? How do I get, don't rush into that. My first advice is don't rush into that. Get footage,
Yeah.
right? I mean, once you're actra, you can only do actra stuff,
Yeah.
you know, which is, I aspire to get there. But when you're not acting, you're independent, you can still get footage, some very decent footage and great footage that I am now able to use
Yeah.
for my demo reel. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I can do is just, you know, like humble yourself, get ready to work, get ready to be early on set, get ready to leave late, get ready. I mean, just, it's not,
It's a grind.
find your reason why you want to be an actor. If
Yeah.
you want to be famous, do Instagram, do TikTok, get yourself a few million followers, you'll be famous.
Yeah.
But if you want to be in the grind, if this is something that you want to do, if 12, 14 hours of work don't scare you when you're on set, then yeah, okay, maybe there's that. But find your why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And has your why changed over the years? Because I remember when I first got into acting, my why was, it was very vain, but it was like, oh, I want to see how I look on camera. I have long hair. I think I look good. I want to start acting.
Yeah, you did have long hair. What
I
happened?
did, yeah. I cut it off 3
Was
weeks
that
ago.
recent, eh?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
Oh, man.
I didn't even change my Facebook picture, but
Did you cry? Was that painful?
no, I needed to. Too hot. But so my why that first year was that, and it was very vain. But then through the years, it's been 3 years now I'm acting, the why has changed to where I just want to express myself.
Okay.
And it took a lot of growth. Has your why changed over the years, or has it always
It
been
did
the
not
same?
change.
Okay.
It did not change. My why since day one was I want to tell stories. I want to tell stories of people that can't tell their stories. I want to bring awareness to, you know, the masses. I want to share messages and stories with people. It's always been my why since day one. I did not stray away from it, and I believe it's the why that keeps me going. And, you know, sometimes I say, oh, forget about this, man. It's like, I got to pay rent. I got to pay my mortgage.
Yeah.
You know, I have stuff to pay. But then I pull back, and once mortgage is paid, once this is paid, you just look and be like, you know what? I want to tell stories.
Yeah.
You know, that's always in the back of my head. It's always on my heart. I want to tell stories, and I want to share it with people. So that did not change.
Okay.
Yeah. To be honest with you, a lot of people tell me, oh yeah, you want to be famous, you want to be a star. That's very secondary.
Yeah.
I really don't really care about that. As long as if I can make a living, I can make a decent living, I can survive and tell stories. For me, that is my why. That's my, you know, meter, my gauge.
Of course.
Yeah.
And are there certain people in the Montreal acting community that you draw inspiration from, or maybe from New York, or just actors, famous actors in general, actresses?
Listen, as I always think of myself, especially when I'm telling the stories, you have to be versatile. You have to be able to draw inspiration from everywhere.
Yeah.
If I pick a specific, you know, when I was younger, I could answer you this. I'm like, oh yeah, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Sylvester Stallone, and of course Van Damme grew up in the 80s, right? So
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
yes. But now I can honestly tell you, it doesn't make any sense. As an actor, your duty is to be able to draw inspiration from everywhere.
Yeah.
If you want to be a good actor, if you want to project stories, if you want to be able to, you know, take on a role, you have to be a chameleon. To be a chameleon, you have to draw inspiration from as many people as you can. Just you know, something, you know, the way he said that, or how he did it, or what he did to get where he is at, right? Or what she did to get where she's at. Very, very important to draw inspiration from everybody. Anybody that you come across, anybody you watch, draw inspiration from it.
Exactly. I agree 100%. Because like you, at the beginning, it was, yes, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
But then...
Those are always the two goals, right?
Of course, yeah. But then you live in Montreal, and it's a melting pot of cultures, and there's so much to take away from everybody that you come across.
Yeah.
And especially my family, I find in my work that I do, I take so much from just things my dad has done in the past, or things my brother has done. Has there been things you've taken from your family?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, And as much as when you're younger, you're against the family, you're like the rebel.
Yeah,
You grow up and you're like, dude, what the fuck did I just do? I sound like my dad, you know, or like I
exactly.
sound like my mom. It's like, but it's in you, right? It's because at a certain point you just drop your guard and you accept that inspiration. You know, like you said, Montreal. See, I find Toronto to be more of a melting pot. I definitely find Toronto to be more of a melting pot where all the different cultures and all the different people, they come around and they boil down into Toronto.
Yeah,
I find Montreal to be more of a mosaic where people come in, but they keep their identity, they keep their
yeah,
differences, they keep, you know, their culture, and they're proud of it. So it becomes more of a mosaic of different cultures
yeah,
that represent Montreal. So in that sense, I think more of Toronto as a melting pot where everything
yeah,
becomes, you know, Toronto. But here Montreal is like, no. It's like it's different.
yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, I never thought of it that way,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's
Yeah.
100%.
Because I used to always think Montreal was a melting pot
Yeah.
until somebody, actually, believe it or not, a taxi driver
Oh wow.
when I was younger, and he told me, he's like, no, Montreal is not a melting pot
Yeah.
because y they don't let go of their identity, and they just bring their food or how they were brought up. No. People in Montreal are proud of who they are, and they are proud to share it constantly and keep it as this. So it becomes a mosaic, and I was just like, oh wow, you know, yes, you're right, you know,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. And is there something
Taxi
as
driver wisdom.
yeah, that's a good movie too, Robert De Niro. Is there something as a Montreal actor you would like to see more of in the community?
So as a Montreal actor, I would say aspiring actor. I'm not even yet, but I'm aspiring. But as somebody who's in the field in Montreal, I would love to see, number one, I'd love to see um, people stop running away from Montreal and going to Toronto and Vancouver to get discovered, to get known
Yeah.
in the acting industry. A lot of people, oh yeah, you want to know, you go to Toronto, go to Vancouver, and which is true because I mean, you're gonna get more Anglos there, right? But here
Yeah.
we are, we're in Montreal and we're speaking English fine, and on peut bien aussi parler en français, and we can even speak different languages, right? So
Exactly.
Montreal's got a lot to offer. It's just you know, it's important. Just like a show like this of Montreal Rising Stars, it's very important to give a platform to people from Montreal, to talent from Montreal, actors, singers, DJs, artists. There's amazing graffiti artists out there in Montreal that do
Yeah.
things that I have not seen anywhere in Canada. And I've traveled a lot for work across Canada. And I can tell you some of the stuff that come from here is absolute stellar.
Yeah.
There needs to be more representation. There needs to be more opportunity that is bilingual. And I find, again, the industry of acting here in Montreal is not unified. It's very divided.
Yeah.
UDA, ACTRA, which every actor aspires to be both UDA and ACTRA, but there needs to be some more of a unity. For example, when Good Cop, Bon Cop, Bad Cop came out,
Yeah.
I was super excited. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is groundbreaking. We need this. This is
Yeah.
the image of Montreal where we all speak both languages well,
It's
or at
true.
least understand it well.
It's true.
You know, so many times I would speak to somebody where, you know, they're more French speaking. I'm English or French. I can speak both ways, but it was funny when I was speaking to somebody in English and they were answering me in French, and we are having a full conversation
Full blown, yeah.
for, you know, over an hour, one language and the other, and we fully understood what was going on. And I think that should be brought up more in acting, and I think that is what is needed here, is the unification of something
sure.
like that instead of the division.
For sure. 100%. And now that we have this platform to share that because of John, the director,
Absolutely.
who's
Thank
making
you.
it all happen,
Yes.
we're going to look to make that happen in the future. And just on a final note, are there any projects you'd like to shout out? Anything you're working on currently? I know you have your film In a Moment, which we're excited to see in the future. Anything else on the horizon?
Just again, writing right now. I don't have anything. I'm not involved in any production as of yet. Just really focused on getting, you know, for lack of a better word, getting my shit together as an actor, and really, you know, being serious about the work and really getting represented, because I noticed being self-represented can get you so far,
Yeah.
but you can get further than that. You definitely
Exactly.
need an agent, because at the end of the day, these people want to speak to a business person, right? They
Exactly.
think actors are all about impulses and emotions and all, please. But you want to be looked at, you have to be represented by a business person. So that is my next step, and I hope to be well represented with an agent and go further.
Of course, I'm
Yeah.
sure you will,
Thank you.
definitely. And I just want to say thank you again.
Thank
And
you. It's
we
my
look,
absolute pleasure, man. Thank you for having me.
Of course, and we look forward to your career with great excitement heading forward.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
man.
much, man.
It's been a pleasure.
Have a good one.
Thanks. Cheers.
Thank you.